Kéo mạnh vào. 1, 2, 3. Coi chừng, nó đang tới gần. Giữ vững tay chèo. Chắc tay thử, chắc tay thử. Tôi đang cố hết sức đây, kéo đi. Cẩn thận, lùi lại đi, mau lên, nguy hiểm. Watch the head. Get that line secured now. Now heave! Pull! Together now, pull!
The night on the deep sea was chilling. Their small iron vessel swayed in the darkness. The harsh white searchlights casting a thin, fragile beam of light on the pitch-black water. No one spoke much. Only the wind whistling through the moorings, the rumbling of the engine, and the creaking of metal reminded them that here, a small mistake could cost them blood and lives. The fishermen, clad in dark blue raincoats, stood close to the railing, their hands gripping the steel cables tightly, their shoulders pressed down as if pulling the weight of the sea onto the deck. The cables vibrated violently, taut as a guitar string about to snap. Each jolt from below traveled up their wrists, their spines, their tense eyes. Beneath the water, something enormous was twisting, rolling, testing the steel. Along.
Giữ chặt nó lại. Kéo mạnh lên, nó lớn quá.
Careful, it almost got Hansen.
Heavy shadows slithered through the light and vanished, leaving a chilling sensation running down their spines. The sonar ping, ping, was regular, yet sounded like the ship's heartbeat. The green screen depicted the seabed, the sheer cliffs, and a moving mass clinging to the dark edge. They had been tracking it for hours, unusual tremors, moments of being dragged along in the darkness, and silences so long that they could only hear their own breathing. Then it came. The water swelled as if something had risen from the bottom. White foam burst forth. A bomb-like blast of water struck the side of the ship, and in the floodlight, the enormous Moray Eel emerged, a sleek, thick body, like a living log, writhing ferociously in a frenzy. Its jaws opened and closed like an iron trap. Its teeth gleamed coldly in the flood.
Giữ chặt dây cáp. Cẩn thận phía bên kia. Nhanh lên, buộc chặt lại. Nhanh lên, kéo nó lên. Gió đang xé toạc mọi thứ.
Light. With just one flick of its tail, the deck shook. Water splashed like rain, and tools clattered on the wet steel. The fishermen, clad in dark blue raincoats, recoiled, not out of fear, but because they knew distance was the line between control and disaster. Plastic barriers rose. Steel rods extended. Winches strained. And steel cables roared as if being torn apart. The entire vessel became a tense machine. Some held the ropes. Others attached auxiliary hooks. Some monitored the pulleys. And others sprayed water to maintain humidity and reduce friction. It all happened in seconds. So fast that in the blink of an eye, the giant Moray Eel could lunge at the edge of the deck. Or the steel cable could snap back like an invisible blade. Each time it surged, the lights flickered.
Get the winch engaged now! Pull it up! Ah!
Giữ chặt vào! Kéo lưới lên nhanh! Cẩn thận, sóng đánh!
Its shadow flitting back and forth across the steel deck like a real nightmare. The impact against the trap frame produced a deep, hollow thud, the sound of metal enduring. The seawater on the deck was flung up in a white mist, making everything both dazzling and hazy. The cameraman instinctively recoiled, water constantly splashing from the lens, the image shaking and his breathing ragged. But that's precisely what made the moment so real. This wasn't a film set. This was the sea. And what lay on the deck wasn't just any ordinary fish. When the giant Moray Eel finally breached the railing and slammed onto the iron deck, victory didn't come as expected. There were no cheers, only a brief silence. Then the sound of falling equipment, ragged breathing, and sharp, decisive commands. Because when you pull something like that onto the deck,
Secure the nets now! Hold to the lines! Hold to the lines! Push it forward! Lock the clamps tight! They're holding! Get ready for the next one!
The battle isn't over, it just moves from the darkness of the sea to right beneath your feet, in the harsh white light. They looked at it as if it were a disaster just pulled up from the abyss. The giant moray eel still wriggled, still breathed, still ready to lunge at any moment. Its size reflected the people and the spotlights like a wet mirror. It sat there, taking up all the space, making the ship seem small, making the grown men in their dark blue raincoats look like they were standing next to something out of proportion. But they didn't panic. They did the only thing they could: lock, wedge, tighten, hold, each step steady, each step coordinated. Cables were added. Safety locks clicked. Straps tightened. Every movement had a reason. Every distance was calculated. On the iron deck, between the wind and the engine noise. Calmness was what kept them alive. And at that moment, when everything seemed under control, you understand why the deep sea is always a different world. There are creatures that don't need to scream to be terrifying. They just need to exist. Just need to surface for a single moment. Enough to silence the entire ship. Enough to make a man's heart race faster than the sonar. This is a brutal pull-up, between steel and muscle. Between skill and fear. Between human lights and the darkness of the abyss. And for those 18 minutes, you'll feel every second tense like a tightrope. From the first jerk underwater, to the moment the giant moray eel lies on deck, breathing heavily. And the entire crew understands that they've just touched something that should have stayed at the bottom of the sea. The enormous moray eel lay there. Its massive body stretched across the cold iron deck, each breath causing the tarpaulin to rise and fall slightly. The sound, deep, wet, regular, echoed clearly in the silence after the chaos. It sounded like the very breath of the ocean, pulled from its place. The fishermen in their dark blue raincoats watched intently. No one dared turn their back. At sea, complacency is always the highest prize. One man slowed his pace, taking half a step closer, his hand gripping a long tool, his eyes fixed. Another held the harness tightly, checking each buckle, each steel hook. No unnecessary movements, no loud words, just short signals, a slight nod, a language only found among those who have faced the brink of danger countless times. The searchlight shone down on the giant moray eel's body, revealing old scars on its skin, traces of collisions at the bottom of the sea, of battles